I want to talk just a little bit about the changing state of evangelism, at least as I see it. I recently picked up a book that had evangelistic intent, and it was a good book. I mean, the author wrote very well. The first chapter was, it sucked you right in. After that, there's all these kind of heartwarming stories and some God stories, some really cool stuff. And then it got preachy. And at that point, I'm done. And the sad thing was, I was all excited because there's this old duffer that I know who's just about my age. And I was going to give him the book because I've been trying to talk to him about the Lord. We've prayed together a few times and whatever. And politically, we are just poles apart. He likes to argue. I like to argue. We argue back, but we kind of come together around prayer. He is not following Jesus the way that you're following Jesus. He confesses he's never read the New Testament in his life, but he is interested and God is answering his prayers. And I wanted to give him this book, but I knew that the evangelistic blast was just going to be too much for him. He was going to criticize it, and it just isn't going to work. And I'm not inviting him to church either. I mean, there's COVID right now, so that's a little hard anyway. But, inviting somebody to a high-tech worship experience is not the same as inviting them to know Jesus Christ. And so I want to just kind of get back to the beginning and think about this, that Jesus walks by the shore of Galilee and he says, follow me. Actually, he says, follow me and I'll make you fishers of men. But we're not going to go there right now. Paul comes along and says, follow me as I follow Christ. And, we live in a culture that currently demeans church, sees little value in it, mocks the gospel, sees it as unscientific, looks at Christianity as a factor in the ever-evolving process of whatever in human society. And it had its place, but its place is no more. That's kind of how the world sees you and me. But what I found is that friendship with a Christ follower meets little resistance. You just make friends with somebody and you hang out long enough, and love conquers all, and people begin to see the power of God in your life, in that there's times when you shouldn't be so loving, but you are loving, and they're interested, and it becomes just a natural flow to bring people into a relationship with Jesus Christ. This is what I call friendship evangelism. It's what the churches that I've pastored have always been built on. I'm not seeing the church as a mission field for people come to church, hear me, get saved. I'm looking at the church as an equipping station. I'm here to equip the saints to go out in the world and hang out with their neighbors and hang out with their friends after work and whatever. And it's brought people by the thousands to Christ. I pastored a church that was never more than big Sunday would have 2,500 people. But we were seeing 20 people a week times 52 weeks in a year. A lot of people come to know Jesus. We were sending them out the door like crazy to plant churches. This was working, and it was all about just follow me as I follow Christ.